Hello everyone, this is my second stream of the day, and this one is going to be a very calm, very low-key kind of stream where I intend to read over some more of Project 2025, the fascist plan to take over much of America. You are free to hang out with me if you want while I read it. I'm just going to be listening to some music and going over it. I'm about 20 pages in already, and so I'm going to be going forward from there. If this doesn't sound interesting to you, you don't want to hang out, you don't have anything you want to work on at the same time, I get it. I got tons of other videos and streams. Go and watch one of those. But for people who want to hang out while we take a look at the public plan for the fascist takeover, this is the place to be. We can go briefly, just since we're here. I'm not going to talk about everything I find while we go through this, but since we're here, some of the stuff I've already pulled out is like this opening nonsense on the very first page. The Great Awakening. I mean, come on, the Great Awakening. They're going on 4 broad fronts: family, administrative state, nation sovereignty, which means they're going hard on immigration, and individual rights, which basically in this case means not rights. They mean weird things when they say rights. The family stuff is really homophobic, is really anti-abortion, wants to destroy a ton of social welfare programs, wants to is anti-porn in like a way that almost certainly violates the First Amendment, like terrifying things about schools, which is basically leading into the broader conservative plan of defunding public education. Here's some of the more transphobia. They explicitly call the overturn of Roe versus Wade the biggest pro-family win in a decade, which is just gross. Administrative state, this is basically them gutting every regulatory agency that exists, removing as many rules as possible, and basically eliminating the ability for the state going forward to make new rules. We've seen that kind of with the Supreme Court's recent overturn of the Chevron doctrine, right? They also intend to fire tons of people in the government to put in only Trump loyalists. That's a big part of the plan. Yeah, this is all just anti-China, anti-immigration stuff. This is some funny quotes about how we need rights. And now we're up to the part I'm at right now. This is what we're reading. You guys probably can't even really clearly read what I'm reading, can you? What to do about that? That makes it a bit bigger. Gas cars or gas stoves? Efforts to defend the police? Alter beloved books? Oh my fucking god. God, I hate the Heritage Foundation. Oh my god. This is all about them gutting the government. Underworked, overcompensated. Yeah, that's what they say about government work. It's an easy path to get overcompensated. An unaccountable federal civilian workforce is so irrational that they would be comical. Oh my fucking god. What are you talking about? That's not a real thing. Now, of course, there's no citations for anything. Fucking Heritage Foundation. Think tanks are supposed to think. Oh, wow. That's because they were very poorly organized. This is interesting. They want to do something with the Office of Management and Budget, which seems like taking away apportioning power from Congress and giving it to the executive? Huh! That's funny. That's hilarious. You would think this would mean that they would want the checks and balances on the president, but no, that's not what they mean. They mean they think the power of the president is being unfairly encroached upon by Congress. That's what he means. That's an absurd state of view. Yet can't cede authority to experts. There we go. White House Counsel. Knew they were going to be weird about that. The Office of White House Counsel serves as primary gateway for communication between the White House and the Department of Justice. Traditionally, they have issued a memo requiring all contact between the institutions to occur only between those offices. That should be reconsidered for communication to occur through additional channels. The President will need to handle major ongoing litigation or pending legal matters that might present a challenge to his agenda. Including recommendations for reconsidering or reversing positions of the previous administration in any significant litigation. This review will require consulting with new political leadership at the Justice Department, including during the transition period. Yeah, this is about how he wants to end all of his ongoing prosecutions. Moreover, when a candidate with elite credentials might seem ideal, the best one will be above all loyal to the president and what they think the Constitution means. Oh God. No legal entitlement exists for the provision of permanent space for media on the White House campus, and the next administration should re-examine the balance between media demands and space constraints on the White House premises. They want less media. Of course they do. They really want the government staffed with loyalists. 43 pages in. I'm certainly not getting through the whole thing on this stream. I'm just, I don't know, hanging out for an hour or so and getting through part of this. Pulling out my notes for what I think will eventually be a video. But dang. I don't know, fear can cloud my ability to write well. Oh yes, the super powerful executive. Oh, citing James Madison. Here we go. The great challenge confronting a conservative president is the existential need for aggressive use of the vast powers of the executive branch to return power, including power currently held by the executive branch, to the American people. You may say you need to be dictator for a day. They had a platform in 2016, and in 2020, they readopted the 2016 platform, plus supporting President Trump's agenda. Well, it's because you're trying to make the overturning of Chevron consistent with the unitary executive in like some grand framework way. There is no grand framework, there's a lust for power. Success in meeting that challenge will require a rare combination of boldness and self-denial. Boldness to bend or break the bureaucracy to the presidential will, and self-denial to use the bureaucratic machine to send power away from Washington and back to America's families, faith communities, local governments, and states. Yeah, it's down to each individual institution grasping for power. And broadly, they're aligned on many ends, but they're all just awful people who want power. Oh, and now we get to their specific details about why they're mad at OMB. Or why they think it's their secret way to take more power. OMB must have been an issue in the last administration with the way they're talking about it, but I don't remember that. Common meme of those who intend to evade OMB review is to argue that where resources are not being discussed, OMB's participation is optional. This ignores both OMB's role in all downstream execution and the reality that it has the only statutory rules in the White House that are powerful enough to override implementing agencies' bureaucracies. Oh, so they're just gonna gut the budget to every agency they don't like. I think this is about gutting budgets. The director must view his job as the best, most comprehensive approximation of the president's mind as it pertains to the policy agenda, while always being ready with actual options to effect that agenda within existing legal authorities and resources. This role cannot be here we're going to get to their specific gripe. This role cannot be performed adequately if the director acts instead as the ambassador of the institutional interests of OMB and the wider bureaucracy to the White House. Once its reputation as the keeper of commander's intent is established, then and only then does okay, so it's been, I'm thinking relatively independent, and they want it to be super loyal. Externally, the director must ensure that OMB has sufficient visibility into the deep caverns of agency decision-making. The program associate directors, resource management offices, the apportionments to prevent installments. Yeah, see, this is it. They're gonna cut off all the money to like everything they don't like, or anything they don't like is a better way to say that. Yeah, this is all about them trying to effectively control even the non-political parts of the bureaucracy by controlling the money that flows to those parts. God, this is awful. Oh, God. The director must ensure the appointment of a general counsel who is respected yet creative and fearless in his or her ability to challenge legal precedents that serve to protect the status quo. Oh, God. Yep, fiscal irresponsibility. They want to cut. Yep. OMB's budget team plays a key role in executing policy across the executive branch, including at many agencies wrongly regarded as independent. Oh, that's not good. Regardless of whether Congress adopts the president's full set of budget recommendations, the president should reintroduce the concept of administrative pay-as-you-go, or administrative pay-go. This simple procedural requirement imposes budget neutrality on the discretionary choices of federal agencies, of which there are many in nearly all areas of policy making. This simple step forces the executive branch to control what it can control. This principle may occasionally yield to other overarching requirements, such as a presidential regulatory budget, but in nearly all cases, administrative pay-go plays a unique and indispensable role in enforcing fiscal responsibility at federal departments and agencies. Ooh. Well then. Regulatory analysis and OIRA review should also be required of the historically independent agencies, as the Office of Legal Counsel has found is legally permissible. And note 6 we'll have to take a look at. I'm gonna have to look up a bunch of executive orders, aren't I? Yeah, they really want to gut every regulator. To accomplish national objectives effectively, foreign policy should fully incorporate the economic instruments of national power. National security policy must also include the prioritized allocation of resources. When policies are divorced from the resources required to implement them, they are stillborn, academic exercises that undermine our national security and leave departments and agencies to their own devices. Interesting. So they want to gut the National Security Council so they can staff it with loyalists. The theme of the day is staff it with loyalists. So if you go back to my video about Trump's campaign in 2000 for president, his lawyers at the time concocted an idea where President Trump, if he was elected in 2000, would fulfill the office of the U.S. Trade Representative so that, while president, he could also be the one in charge of the day-to-day negotiation of our trade deals with our international allies, because Trump had become convinced that there was such a defect in our trade deals that we were being screwed, and that him, by using the art of the deal, could restore American trade to previously unseen levels. Plus, they wouldn't have to pay him, so they would save the salary. Yes, he really said that in the book he claimed to write. I did a whole video on it, go check it out. It's probably better than this stream. Out of China, yeah, we know. Yeah, got a better economist. You can't take credit for the Artemis program. That was an old program and you didn't even give them the funding they asked for. Can't let facts get in the way. Yeah, there is kind of, where was it? Transitioning International Space Station operations to multiple privately owned space platforms. ISS is old for a space station, and its decommissioning has been delayed several times, but we're coming up again on when the ISS is supposed to be decommissioned and deorbited. And our plans for replacing it is not super great. Let me pull up a quick article about this. It is NASA's goal to be one of many customers in a robust commercial marketplace in low Earth orbit, where in-orbit destinations as well as cargo and crew transportation are available as services to the agency. NASA is just giving up on space. The agency will focus on human missions beyond this region at the Moon and Mars. No, it won't. It doesn't have the resources or the manpower. Yeah, we're just kind of hoping that there's going to be commercial space stations, but I am deeply skeptical. When are they deorbiting it, though? Yeah, 2030. So we've got a few years left, but not many. Finally, the next administration will face a significant challenge in unwinding policies and procedures that are used to advance radical gender, racial, and equity initiatives under the banner of science. Similarly, the Biden administration's climate fanaticism. I would not call the Biden administration climate fanatics, but we'll need a whole of government unwinding. As with other federal departments and agencies, the Biden administration's leveraging of the federal government's resources to further the woke agenda should be reversed and scrubbed from all policy manuals, guidance documents, and agendas, and scientific excellence and innovation should be restored as the OSTP's top priority. Oh man. Oh yeah, we don't actually want to know how much damage is being done. Oh. So that Reagan executive order they were talking about is it uses the Fifth Amendment, which is the right against self-incrimination, as it says, provides that private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. That seems more like, I don't know, like a Third Amendment or a Fourth Amendment type of thing than a Fifth Amendment type of thing. Yeah, okay. That's true. Okay, here we go. Its true purpose was to undermine public health and environmental regulations through the back door by promoting an exaggerated and inaccurate view of regulatory takings doctrine. Professor Charles Reed of Harvard Law School, who served as Solicitor General under Reagan. Devotees of the extreme libertarian views of Richard Epstein. Specific, aggressive, and it seemed to me quite radical project of mine used the Takings Clause of the Fifth Amendment as a severe break upon federal and state regulation of business and property. The grand plan was to make government pay compensation as for a taking of property every time its regulations impinged too severely on a property right, limiting the possible uses for a parcel of land, or restricting or tying up a business in regulatory red tape. The government labeled under so severe an obligation, there would be, to say the least, much less regulation. Okay, this makes sense to me. Thank you, Turpus Quorai, yes. Nice. Okay, so they want to gut the Civil Rights Agency again. Set principles and practices that were meant to ensure that expert merit rather than partisan favors or personal favoritism ruled within the federal bureaucracy. That it would be bad if we had experts chosen by merit in there. Gotta go back to the old spoils system. Although the system appeared to be sufficient for the nation's first century, professionalized, scientific, and politically neutral administration. Yeah, those damn progressives and their desire for professionalism, science, and politically neutral administration of the laws. Damn progressives. They're referencing Carter? What is going on here? Time ran out on Carter before the act could be fully executed. Okay. Oh god, they're bringing back IQ tests? Gotta get the Von Mises citation in there somewhere, right? They definitely get paid less for similar work. Are they even going to include a citation for that? They're not. Oh, it's their own study. Okay. My God. Gotta cut those pensions. Cut functions and budgets. Here we go. You could definitely say it's a consequence of that. Thank you, Zachary. Oh, you were right. The Schedule F part is bad, Daniel. How can you face hostility from the media in getting appointees confirmed? Report, the media doesn't vote to confirm appointees. It's not the media's role. Well, I've seen that they want to make sure that they fill the top political positions to provide overall legitimacy. Yeah, I get it. They want this to be fully staffed with loyalists. The absolute refusal of the acting attorney general from the Obama administration to obey a direct order from the president. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Excuse me. If personnel as policy is to be our general guide, it would make sense to give the president direct supervision of the bureaucracy, with the OPM director available in his cabinet. Oh yeah, I heard him say it, Daniel. I am aware of how evil that man is. Yeah, crazy that we would want our soldiers not to be incapacitated with illness. What we really need is more soldiers incapacitated by illness. Of course they need a bigger nuke. Of course they need a bigger nuke. We can't maintain the nukes we have, but they want a bigger nuke. Bigger nuke, bigger nuke, bigger nuke. Of course they want a bigger nuke. Oh, yes. Wouldn't want to defend Taiwan if it's too hard. Large swaths of the State Department's workforce are left-wing. I don't think left-wing means what they think it means. What does this mean? And it should implement a sovereign Mexico policy, as our neighbor has functionally lost its sovereignty to muscular criminal cartels that effectively run the country. It feels kind of like a pretense for the United States to invade Mexico, which is absurd, right? There wouldn't be a pretense for the United States to invade Mexico in this document, would there? Gotta get that comment about the rainbow flag and the Black Lives Matter flag in there too. Wait, they want to close the DHS? Oh, a new standalone. They're keeping ICE. They're keeping ICE are the worst part of DHS, but getting rid of DHS. Oh man, at first I read that, I'm like, interesting. Then I'm like, oh, no, they mean it. They mean it in the worst possible way. We're keeping border control and ICE, and we're getting rid of anything else Homeland Security wise in that department. Get it out of here. More than invading Mexico, it's probably a way for us to go back on some obligation we have in some trade agreement or something, right? We can say that we're not actually bound by something we previously agreed to because the state of Mexico has lost its sovereignty and is in control of these cartels that are leading in assaults on the United States, yada, 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 words. Then we do all the crimes. I think that's about all of this I can take for today, y'all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for keeping me company as we work through this awful document. I may do some more of these again as I continue working through this. I need to get through this by November. There's a deadline on this video, so I need to keep working. But like an hour and a half is all I can take for today. So thank you all for joining me. Check out the other videos on my channel, all of which are far more interesting and less painful than this. And yeah, that's what I've got.